Want to hear all about Jess's recent trip to Japan? She scored first and business class flights and got 7 hotel nights for $0 out of pocket. Listen up as she shares exactly how she did it and how you can do it too. Welcome to Points Talk with the Travel Mom Squad. Hey, I'm Alex.
And I'm Jess. Let's talk points.
All right, so Jess just returned home from a spring break trip to Japan. And Jess, we want to hear all about how you got there, where you stayed. I know you've been before with 2 of your stepdaughters. This time you took Molly and Ted. So I know it was probably a little bit of a different trip, more people, younger traveler. So tell us how it went traveling to Japan with younger kids. But first, let's hear about your flights.
Yeah. So last time it was me, Ella, and Olivia. We went in January of 2024. We have a podcast episode about that trip also, if you want to check it out. But as soon as we got home, I was like, I have to go back to Japan because it is my favorite country I've ever been to. And I knew that Molly would love it. She's 11. She's super into all the Sanrio characters, like Hello Kitty and all that stuff. And so as I was there, I was like, she would love this so much. So I have to bring her back. So basically, as soon as we got home from our trip in 2024, I started scheming, how am I going to take them back for spring break 2025? And so, like you said, I just got back 4 days ago. So everything is fresh in my mind. So to get to and from Japan, I'm going to go into a little bit of detail how we got there, but AA came in clutch for this. So we booked all of our flights through American Airlines. We are actually flying on a Japan Airlines plane. And so Japan Airlines and American are both in the One World Alliance. And so AA is by far one of the best ways to get to Japan, regardless of the class you want to fly. Like if you want to fly economy, it's a great option. If you want to fly business, it's a really great option. And so regardless of the class you want to fly, great option to get to Japan. I basically hoarded all of our AA miles to use for Japan. Like I don't use AA miles to fly domestically. I am saving those miles to fly to Japan because you can just get a ridiculous amount of value out of them. None of the banks transfer to AA, so it is a little bit trickier
And
to
one of the banks transferred to Japan Airlines.
right.
So, yeah.
So a little bit trickier. That's why I had to hoard them. I was like, I can't transfer from any of the banks. I got to just hoard these AA miles. And so that is what I did. So to get to Japan, we flew from Chicago O'Hare to Haneda Airport. There are 2 main airports in Tokyo. One is Haneda, one is Narita. Haneda is much closer to central Tokyo. And so if I had a choice, I'll always choose Haneda. But if Narita is your only choice, it's a great option too. Public transportation is super easy in Japan. And so regardless, you'll be able to get to where you want to go.
Did you
So
do Haneda last time too? Or have you?
yeah,
Okay.
I did. I've never flown into or out of Narita. It's just worked out that way.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it just depends on what airport you're flying from. Some airports only fly to one or the other. And so we flew from Chicago. We positioned to Chicago, just took a United flight, and we stayed overnight at the Hyatt Regency near O'Hare Airport because our flight left on a Saturday at 10:35 a.m. So obviously 10:35 a.m. I'm not flying in that day. Like that's a time where I'm flying in the night before and staying overnight at the Hyatt. And so the Hyatt Regency O'Hare is a great option if you're positioning to Chicago. It's a category 2, and so a really great deal. And it's a night. I mean, it's updated. It's a pretty nice hotel. And
Do they have
so
a shuttle that takes you to and from the
they
airport?
do have a shuttle. They have a shuttle. And I've also discovered that, okay, so it's a Regency. If you're a globalist or have guest of honor, you get the buffet included with your stay. But they also have like a Starbucks-ish coffee shop, and they wipe that from my bill too. So
Nice.
I'll like go to breakfast, have the breakfast, and then I'll go get a latte from the Starbucks, and it never appears on my bill. We stay at this hotel a lot because we go to Chicago a lot. So that's like my favorite thing about it. I'm like, I'm getting this like $8 latte for free.
Yeah.
So if you're a globalist or guest of honor, that's a little side perk of the Hyatt Regency O'Hare. So like I said, booked these flights from O'Hare directly to Haneda. It's like a 13 and a half hour flight. Booked them through AA. I had originally booked all four of us in premium economy. That was the best I could do at the time of booking. I booked right when the schedule opened. I will say that we have a Points Talk premium episode. It's episode number 2. I go into way more detail about how exactly I booked these flights, how I racked up so many AA miles. There's a little trick to that and all of that in that episode. It's a little bit more intermediate to advanced content. So I'm not going to go into the whole thing in this episode. But if you want to hear more about that, you can tune in to, we have a couple of Point Stock Premium episodes now about AA and the tricks with Japan. So like I said, originally booked for premium economy seats, it's only 50,000 miles a person on AA for that flight and $5.60 in taxes. And so the thing I love about AA to Japan is the miles are low and the taxes are low. A lot of times you'll find the miles are low and the taxes are like hundreds of dollars, and when you're multiplying that by 4 people, that's a lot you're paying out of pocket in taxes and fees. But
Oh, yeah.
it's like $22, $23 or whatever the math is, 560 times 4. So great deal. Then I had been checking back because I was like, I don't mind flying premium economy. Like if that's what it takes to get to Japan, I'll fly it. I'm sure it's great. But if I could get business or first, that is my preference. And so I kept checking back. And in the week leading up to our trip, 3 first class seats became available on our exact date, exact route, everything. And so I snagged 2 of them. If there had been 4, I would have gotten all 4, but there were only 3. And I was like, I don't know who to leave in premium economy if I get 3. And so I got 2. Ted and I went and sat in first class and it was amazing. And Molly and Ella took one for the team and hung out in premium economy, which they said was still great. It was a daytime flight. And so they didn't have to worry about sleeping or anything like that. But it's just 80,000 miles AA to fly first class, still $5.60 in taxes. So I was like, I have to take this opportunity
Yeah.
if it presents itself.
Was business class an option or did you not even? You're like, I see first. I'm not even looking at that.
It was not an option. I think I still would have chosen first class if
Yeah.
it was, because
Well, it's kind of a bucket list experience.
it's a bucket list and like 80,000 miles. Like you can't find first class for 80,000 miles.
No.
And so what I did was with AA, you can put flights on hold for 24 hours. And so I put the 2 first class seats on hold, called AA and basically said, we want to cancel 2 of these premium economy seats. They did that. The points automatically redeposited into our account. And then we rebooked first class. And so I wanted, you can,
or did you have them do it? Like they
no,
do
I
all of
had,
it all.
yeah, I had them do it. I was too paranoid. Like technically I could have done it myself. I could
Yeah.
have canceled the PE, waited for the miles to come back. But I was too paranoid. I was like, if something goes wrong,
Oh,
I
yeah.
want the customer service rep to be able to help me. And so that's why I was like, I'm going to put them on hold and call and just have them do it so that.
Well, 'cause you're like, we're leaving in 6, well, like, I don't know. You did it kind of soon before. So you're
Yeah,
like,
it was like a week before.
no, that I didn't lose my flight to the Japan.
Right. So I was like, I'm just going to play it safe, put it on hold. Anyways, we were like, from the time we dialed the phone to the time the flights were ticketed, it was less than 10 minutes. So
Nice.
super easy call to them. And then on our way home, same thing, AA. I had originally booked for premium economy from Haneda to Chicago, 50,000 miles AA. I think the taxes are a little bit higher, around $44, but still ridiculous. I mean, it's crazy that round trip, the taxes were $50 total,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I, like, again, best I could do at the time of booking, around 11 months in advance. So I was like, great, that's great. We're all in premium economy. Then a few months later, I had booked that in April 2024. In August 2024, I get an email from Thrifty Traveler Premium that's basically like wide open, JAL business class from Haneda to San Francisco on our date, 4+ seats available. This never happens. I will say, if you're looking for more than 2 business class seats to Japan or from Japan, you really need some sort of alert. You need Thrifty Traveler, Seats.Aero. You need something, because the chances of you finding more than 2 business class seats are so slim. And so I get this email. It was from Haneda to San Francisco, so not quite as convenient as flying to Chicago. But I texted Ted and Ella immediately, and I said, hey, we can fly to San Francisco instead in business class. Do you want to do it? And immediately they were like, yes. So same thing, canceled our premium economy. Miles were immediately redeposited. And then I booked 4 of us in business class from Haneda to San Francisco for 60,000 AA miles and $44 in taxes. So
You really did rack up a lot of AA miles.
yeah. Ted and I basically both have like all the possible AA cards at this point. So it's going to be a while till I can go back to Japan in AA. I got to start replenishing my stash. But the American Airlines shopping portal is another really good option for racking up AA miles if you don't want to have to open cards, or if you're out of AA cards to open. And so that is how we got to and from Japan. So we get to Haneda. We took the train. We basically took the train everywhere. Public transportation is so easy in Tokyo. I will say that so you have to get a transit card. It's not as easy as, like, when you go to New York or when you go to London, you can just tap your your like phone or your watch and it'll just deduct it. It's not quite as easy. You have to get a transit card. There's a few different options. If you're an adult, if you're 12 or older, you can just add a Suica card to your Apple Wallet and when you're running low on funds, add more funds directly from your Apple Wallet. It's super easy. And then you can set it as your transit card and just tap that in and out. Under 6 is free, but 6 to 11, you have to get you don't have to. You can get a special child Suica card, and that gets them 50% off fares. So that's what we wanted to do, but you have to go in person to get the card because you have to show proof of age. They don't want just anyone being able to get these cards.
You had to like bring her passport with you.
So we had to bring her passport to the ticket office. We opted to wait until we got to our hotel, and we went, the station near our hotel was Shibuya Station, which is a major train station in Tokyo. We went there, brought her passport, brought her, and were able to get the card. You do need cash to load the children's card. You're going to need cash a lot of places in Japan. A lot of places, they have not caught up with the credit card.
Points and miles. The points and miles game yet.
Yeah. So luckily it's pretty easy to find ATMs. We went to the ATM in the airport near baggage claim. There's an ATM. So that's where we got cash. And then we had to get cash one other time. There are 7-Elevens all over the place, and there are ATMs in the 7-Elevens. And so super easy to get cash, but you are going to need cash. There were several places we went that were cash only.
So every time that you needed to load more funds onto Molly's card, you had to do it with cash?
The nice thing is we loaded it once at the station, and we never had to load it again. That is how affordable. We put 4,000 yen on it, which is equivalent to around $25. That lasted our entire trip.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like, I think she still has a couple hundred yen on it, but like, it's just so affordable to take the train there. Yeah. I don't actually know what would have happened if we had to load her Suica card. I think we probably would have had to go to one of the ticket offices and give them more cash.
You were going again, and she was still under 12, which she won't be because she's turning 12 this year.
Yeah.
Would you be able to take that Suica card, is that how you say it, again back, or would you need to get a new one?
I think you can take it back. So they have a thing where if you return the Suica card, they give you 500 yen back. I think it's like a deposit you pay. I think it's to avoid like passing the card around. You know, they
Yeah.
want to incentivize you to return it. We kept it as a souvenir. And so we still have it because they print their name on like
Oh,
her
okay.
card. It's like a metal card and it says Molly Field. So I thought it was like a kind of cool souvenir
Yeah.
to keep. And so we kept it, but I think you can return it and get a 500 yen deposit back. But yeah, so we loaded it. I was like, let's just do 4,000. I don't know. I'm just guessing. So that's what we did. And it lasted the entire trip. So, and we took the train everywhere. So it's just very, very affordable to take the train there.
Well, there you go.
We
If the prices don't change, just load your kid with 4,000 yen and you should be good.
Exactly. So we stayed, last time we went, Ella, Olivia, and I stayed at the Andaz, which was amazing. But with 4 of us, we would have needed 2 rooms at the Andaz, and it is a category 7, soon to be category 8. And I was like, I love Hyatt, but I'm not spending that many points for 2
Yeah.
rooms at the Andaz. And so since we last went in February 2024, the Hyatt House Tokyo Shibuya opened. As soon as I found out that hotel opened and started reading reviews of it, I was like, okay, that's where we're going to stay. So it was a category 4 when I booked it. By the time this episode comes out, it's going to have moved up to a category 5, which is a little bit of a bummer because now you can't use your 1 to 4 free night certificates there. But I still think it is a steal at a category 5. And so we got 2 rooms there. The standard rooms sleep 2, or if you get a standard suite, that sleeps 4. Given their ages, you know, Molly's 11, Ella's 24. I have no desire to share one bathroom with 4 of us. I think when your kids are young, like obviously if they were 3 and 5, I wouldn't have them in their own room. But I
Yeah.
think once your kids get to a certain age, you're just like, I don't want to be in the same room as them. Their feet smell, and I don't want to share a bathroom with 4 people. And
Oh, yeah.
so,
The bathroom thing for sure.
yeah. And so we could have gotten a standard suite, but we decided to get 2 rooms. They were not connecting, but they were right next door to each other. And so I appreciated that, you know, they accommodated us putting the rooms near each other.
What
So
is nice though is if you were a family of 6, you could get a standard suite and a standard room,
yeah, so
which
if
is
you were a family of 6, you could get like yeah, like you said, 1 room for 4, 1 room for 2. It is a little bit tricky to find availability at this hotel because it's really popular, because it's such a deal. Everyone has heard about it. Everyone
yeah.
wants to stay there. And so I definitely think it's worth setting alerts through Max My Point or rooms.arrow if you are interested in staying there. I did see a lot of availability open up as our dates got closer. Like in the week or 2 leading up to our dates, I think people just canceled. And so those rooms became available. So I think you're going to want to set alerts or book it as soon as availability opens up, which is pretty much what we did. The location is
See
amazing.
what the cash rates were. Like, I'm just wondering, is it a place I'd be like, okay, if I can't book it on points, worth paying
I think
cash?
they were around, it was around 5 to 600 a night.
Okay, so a lot. So you probably better with like an Airbnb or something. Or we do have an episode too about Japan that Megan took her kids and she linked some hotels that slept 5, I think, that were
Yeah.
much cheaper. So
Yeah, if you're open to like Airbnb, or I don't remember the brand of the hotel, but there's a certain hotel chain that is known for having family rooms. That might be an option. 5 to 600 a night times 2 is probably a
that's
little bit more.
that's a little outside my how much I want to spend on a Hyatt house, no matter how nice it is.
Granted, we were there. Yeah, we were there for spring break. So spring break's always a little bit more pricey. And then in Japan, especially getting into cherry blossom season. And so it's a popular time to go. Maybe if you were going in like the shoulder season, September, October, it wouldn't be as pricey. I'm not sure what the cash rates are for then, but something to look into. The location is amazing. It is a 5-minute walk to Shibuya train station. Like I said, major train station in Tokyo. You can get anywhere you want to go from that train station. And so being able to just walk 5 minutes to the train station, such a huge advantage. There's a washer and dryer in every single room. Even like the base standard room has a washer and dryer, and they provide the detergent. And so we were able to do laundry, like Ted did check about, but Ella, Molly, and I did carry on only. We did our laundry on the last night of our stay. And so that was really helpful to have a washer and dryer in every room. And then they also have an indoor pool. We did not use it because we just ran out of time. But if you had a day where you were like, I just want to chill, take a break from all the sightseeing, there is an indoor pool. They had like floaties for kids. They had a hot tub. And so just a really, really great option for families. Their breakfast is also amazing by Hyatt House standards. I think often you think of Hyatt House and you're like, not that good. No, they had an extensive buffet. Japan just does Hyatt House differently. I will say it's not included for everyone. Like Hyatt Houses in the US typically include breakfast for everyone, even if you don't have status. Here, it's not. It's only if you have Globalist or if you got a Guest of Honor award, you would get the free breakfast. But the prices aren't bad. Kids under 6 are free. 6 to 12 were around $12 each, and then 12 or over 12 was around $24 each. So I didn't think the prices were that bad for the
No, I
buffet.
mean, a buffet for $12 for a kid seems like a steal.
Yeah, and it's really, it's just beautiful setting. It's on the 16th floor of this building, and so just really great views. So I would not hesitate to stay there again. That is going to be my go-to recommendation for families going to Tokyo. Like I said, only hiccup is going to be finding the availability.
How many nights did you
Maybe
guys stay there?
we were there for
Just
4
4
nights.
nights. Okay.
And so we paid, like I said, it was a category 4 when we booked. So we paid 60,000 points for each room and then $0 out of pocket because Hyatt doesn't charge taxes or resort fees when you book on points. I
So
still think
is that how many days you spent in Tokyo last time?
I think, yes, 4.
You
Yeah.
would recommend 4.
I think 4 is good. It's it's like New York City. Like you're never
Yeah.
going to see everything like you could go for a week and not see everything.
Yeah.
I think 4 nights is a good starting point. I probably wouldn't do less than that. But yeah, so gonna be my go-to recommendation if you can find availability. Maybe it'll be easier to find availability now that it's going to a
Yeah,
category
maybe.
5. I don't know. So things to do in Tokyo. I posted stories on Instagram. It's probably too many stories because I just cannot pare it down. So go check out our Tokyo and Kyoto highlight bubble if you want to see actual videos of these things. TeamLab Planet, we went there last time. Such a hit. It's like there's something so fun for everyone of all ages. Even if you're just going with adults, I think it's like Ella and Olivia and I went last time and had a ton of fun. They opened a whole brand new section since we went last time. And so we spent a few hours there and it's just really awesome. It's like an interactive art collective and there's a bunch of different rooms. You get wet, like you have to wear pants that you can roll up because like you're walking through water, but super fun. You do need a reservation for that. I would make it at least a few weeks in advance. And then we made it for early in the morning, like 9 or 9:30 a.m. The crowds will be less if you go earlier in the morning. Tsukiji Outdoor Market is another one that we went to last time and returned to. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's an outdoor market with all sorts of food and desserts and treats and just fun to walk around. It is crowded, but you're going to learn that a lot of things in Tokyo are crowded. So you just have to kind of just accept that places are going to
Which
be
is kind
crowded.
of surprising that you love it so much because you are not someone who likes busyness.
If it's busyness, but there's food, I will take one for the team
Yeah.
and do it. And so another one is Takeshita Street. Ted absolutely hated it, but me and Ella and Molly loved it. It is just so
Was that where you guys went shopping and then on the stories he was like asking Siri or Google Translate to say I hate my life?
yeah. Yeah. So it's just like a popular I don't even know how to describe it because there's nothing in the US that is even comparable. But it's just a street, again, very crowded, but tons of shopping, tons of weird food, but weird, like, but delicious food. We went into like drugstores and we're shopping for makeup. Anyways, not Ted's cup of tea, but I kind of feel like everyone should just try it out once because it's so unique to Japan, and I think it's a fun experience. We went back to the latte art place again. I think I sent you like some pictures and videos
Yeah.
of us there. I'll link it in the show notes. They're just amazing, the work that they can do there. And even if they have hot chocolate if you have kids, or if you're like Alex and Pam and don't drink coffee, they have hot chocolate as an option. And so I think that's what Molly. Ted's not a coffee drinker either. So Ted and Molly both got the hot chocolate. But I was like, we have to go because we just showed them pictures of Salmon, like our cats, Sam and Ruth, and we were like, can you put these? And they just do it. They
That's
just
amazing.
make yeah.
No, when you send those pictures and videos and they're on the Instagram story highlight, it's incredible what they can do.
Yeah. So, and then continuing with the cat theme, we went so there's this cat rescue cafe that I found on Reddit, and it is called Yadorigi Cafe. I will link it in the show notes. This Italian guy owns it. He was the sweetest man. And he is just like the ultimate cat guy. And he has I think there's like 20 cats that live there, and they are adoptable. If you're local to Tokyo, you can actually adopt these cats. But if you're not, you can go and have like coffee or a drink and play with the cats. A lot of the animal cafes in Japan, I feel like, are a little bit unethical just with their treatment of animals. This is not that. I purposely sought out one that was a rescue cafe. You have to like wash your shoes before you go in and use hand sanitizer and wash your hands. And he makes you watch a video about like how not to interact with the cats. And so this man adores his cats, and we had actually booked it. You have to book a reservation. We had actually booked it for 1 hour. And then we got there, and Molly and Ella did not want to leave. And he came over and was like, you can stay. You can extend it another hour if you want. And we were like, so we spent 2 hours at this cat cafe, but it was great. He's Italian. He speaks really good English. And so highly recommend it if you're a cat person for a little trip in Tokyo. I think the money that you pay goes towards like providing food and everything for the cats. And then we went to Meiji Shrine, and that's just one of the more popular shrines in Tokyo. Just a really nice place to walk around when it's nice weather outside. And so we enjoyed that also.
I've got a question for you when you were talking about the guy who owns the cat rescue who speaks good English. I noticed, I mentioned earlier you guys were using Google Translate. Is that something that everybody who's going to Japan, like, make sure you have Google Translate? Do a lot of people speak English? Is it kind of a mix? What's it like with the language barrier?
I definitely think you need Google Translate more so for like menus at restaurants. Not all restaurants have menus in English. A lot of times you can get by just there's pictures, and so you can just point and say like, I
Yeah.
want this. But if you want to be able to read like more detail about what you're ordering, then I would definitely have Google Translate. I would say in Tokyo, a majority of people speak English. Like everyone at the Hyatt spoke English. The guy at the cat cafe, like most people know enough to get by. In Kyoto, definitely fewer people spoke English as fluently. So I think Google Translate can come in handy. I think it's sort of just a sign of respect to show that you're trying.
Totally.
I think a lot of people who have English as their first or only language just go to places and expect everyone to speak English, and
Yeah.
because they don't want to be inconvenienced. So I think kind of it's just a way to be respectful. Like, hey, I'm trying to,
Yeah.
speak your language and make an effort. That was all 4 full days. So we did a lot. And then we went to Kyoto for 2 nights. I would recommend more than 2 nights if you can. We were on a strict schedule. I think when Ellen, Olivia, and I went, we spent 4 nights in Tokyo and 4 nights in Kyoto. I think that was great. We were on a little bit more of a strict schedule because we just had the 1 week for spring break. And so we took the bullet train, the Shinkansen train from Tokyo to Kyoto. It's only around 2 hours. And so super quick, easy train to take. I used the Smart X app to purchase our tickets. I will link that in the show notes. Also, super easy to just buy tickets through that app. And if you purchase tickets at least 3 or more days in advance, you can get the first class for just a little bit more than the standard class. And so we splurged and got first class tickets through that app. I think I bought them about a week in advance. You want to, going from Tokyo to Kyoto, you want to sit on the right side of the train for a chance to see Mount Fuji. We did not see it in either direction because it was cloudy, but sit on the right for your chance to see it. So we stayed at the Hyatt Place. Last time we went, Ella and Olivia and I stayed at the Park Hyatt. So this was a little bit of a reality check, but I do think, I mean, the Park Hyatt is amazing. If I were going with just Ted, we would 100% stay at the Park Hyatt. But 4 of us, we needed 2 rooms. Hyatt Place made more sense. We were only going to be there for 2 nights. It is right next door to the train station. So I will say that from a convenience standpoint, I didn't love the location in Kyoto, but it is right next door to the train station. And so you can go wherever you need to go just by using the train. We also used Uber quite a bit in Kyoto. It's pretty inexpensive, or take a taxi, pretty inexpensive. And their train system in Kyoto just isn't as extensive as the train system in Tokyo. And so a lot of places it was like you could take the train, but then you were going to have to walk 20 or 30 minutes in addition to taking the train. And so we were like, we're not doing that. So Uber or a taxi are also great options in Kyoto, not super expensive. We spent 2 nights at the Hyatt Place, category 2. I think it is a steal for a category 2.
And is this one staying a category 2? Because I know like most of Japan's are going up.
This one is staying a category 2, and it actually it was a category 3. During the changes last year in 2024, it dropped to a category 2. I don't really know why, because as far as Hyatt Places go, like I said, Japan just does Hyatt Place and Hyatt House differently. It is an amazing value for a Hyatt Place. The standard rooms sleep up to 3. And so we still got 2 rooms, but Ted and I's room was a king bed, and it had like a chair that had a single pull-out bed.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Ella and Molly were next door to us, and their room had 2 twin beds, which were more like 2 double beds. But 2 rooms, again, were not connecting, but they were right near each other. We actually have Megan and her family stayed here when they went to Japan, and she has like a full write-up and review of the Hyatt Place Kyoto. So I'm going to link that in the show notes if you want to read that. The breakfast was pretty good. It wasn't as good as the Hyatt House Tokyo, but still pretty good, very extensive. They had like a make-your-own acai bowl bar.
Oh, that's nice.
And they had made to order, you could get an omelet. They had made to order eggs. And so I feel like for Hyatt Place, you don't really ever see that.
That's unheard of. Made to order eggs at a Hyatt Place is unheard of. Usually it's powdered eggs.
This is another one. I don't know. I forgot to ask the cash price of this one. I'm assuming it's comparable or even cheaper than the Hyatt House Tokyo. But again, it's one where even though it's a Hyatt Place, it's not included for everyone. You're only going to get breakfast if you are a globalist or have guest of honor. But it's also, there's this really cute coffee shop that is connected. There's like a door that leads to the coffee shop. The cutest coffee shop, if you're a coffee aficionado like I am. Not really aficionado, just coffee addict.
Or just house addict.
Yeah. And so it was so fun to be able to just like open the little door that leads to the coffee shop and go have. There was like one day where it was raining, and I was like, I don't really want to go out, but I want to like not sit in our hotel room. And so we just went to the coffee shop and people watched and drank our coffee. And so the things we did in Kyoto, only 2 nights there, and so not a ton. We went to Fushimi Inari Shrine. This is the place that has the red torii gates that you've probably seen in all of the pictures of Japan. We did a voice map tour there. Talked about this before. We love these. I think it was like $7. And Ella and I each had a pair of AirPods, and I gave one to Molly, and she gave one to Ted. And so we just shared. We each had one little AirPod in our ears.
Well, I noticed in in one of the videos you sent or something, you had just one earpod in, and I was like, oh, like, is she making a reel or is she just listening? And now I know you were just listening to the audio tour.
Yeah. So, it just gives you, it's totally appropriate for kids, and it just gives you a history of the place and tells you some stories about it. And so just a fun way to kind of like add to where you're not just like walking and
Yeah.
looking around.
Getting more out of it.
And then we went to Nishiki Market, which is similar to the market in Tokyo. It's an outdoor market with all sorts of food and shopping and treats. And so just a fun place to walk around. And then we took a day trip to Nara. This is a popular day trip spot. It's about an hour away from Kyoto. Super easy to just take the train there. And it is known for their deer. So there's Nara Park, which is a huge park in the middle of the city, hundreds and hundreds of deer, and they bow to you. It is the cutest thing. And Molly was obsessed. Like Ella and I were like, we have to go to Nara. We have to take Molly to Nara because she is a big animal person and she will love it. And we probably spent 4 or 5 hours there, and we just sat in the park and like,
Hold on. You sat in a park for 4 to 5 hours. Nothing else, just looking at deer.
well, that includes, okay, 4 to 5 hours probably includes like our walk from the train station to the park and our walk back. But I would say we were
It doesn't
in the
include
park.
lunch?
No, I would say we were in the
Wow.
park for at least a few hours.
That's amazing.
It's a huge park. And
Okay.
so we walked around to the different areas. They have like little food truck. Like we got ice cream from one of the food trucks. We were laughing at the deer trying to eat Molly's ice cream. Yeah, we spent at least a few hours walking around this park and petting the deer and looking at them. And so that was probably Molly's favorite thing we did the entire trip. So highly recommend a day trip to Nara if you are staying in Kyoto. It's really easy to get to. So then after our 2 nights in Kyoto, we took the Shinkansen back to Tokyo because our flight was leaving out of Tokyo. We had to go there for one more night. And so we stayed at the Conrad Tokyo this time. I had never stayed there. We had a couple of Hilton free night certificates. And so we booked 2 rooms there. So I booked 1 room and Ted booked 1 room with his free night certificate. Otherwise, it is 100,000 Hilton points a night, which is pretty. I personally would not spend 100,000 Hilton points to stay there.
Yeah.
But if you have free night certificates, that is a great value for those and a great place to redeem them. And so this hotel was luxury. It was much more like the Andaz. Beautiful views, luxury hotel. We stepped out of the elevator and Molly goes, "Why didn't we stay here all week?" My little Pam Jr. was like, "Why
Seriously.
didn't we stay here?" I didn't love the location. I think location wise, coming from the Hyatt House,
Yeah.
you can't beat it. The Conrad was like a 10 to 15 minute walk to any train station. And then it like wasn't even a great train station to be at. And so didn't love the location, but the hotel itself was beautiful. The service was amazing. Like the best service that we had at any of the hotels, which again, you would expect from a hotel of that caliber to have
Yeah.
the best service. When we were checking out, a woman came over to us asking us how our stay was and if it was our first time in Japan. And so I explained to her, we came last year, but my daughter's obsessed with Hello Kitty and Sanrio. And she was like, wait, I'll be right back. And she goes in the back and she brings out these like Hello Kitty water bottles for Ella and Molly as we're checking out. And so I was
Oh,
like,
cute.
that's so cute. And they had like a kids in the room when we checked in. They had a little kids amenity kit with like kid size slippers and like a toothbrush and a sponge for the bath. And so super family friendly option if you have some Hilton free night certificates to use. We also got breakfast included there because I have diamond status with my Aspire card, and then Ted has gold status with through his Amex Platinum business card. And so we got the nice thing about Hiltons internationally is they often include breakfast. A lot of the ones in the US just give you a credit, but Conrad Tokyo included a full breakfast for both of our rooms for diamond and gold. And then 2 of us got access to the executive club thanks to my diamond status. And so Ted and I went up there. It's on like the 37th floor. And so beautiful views. They have like a cocktail hour every night. And so we went up and had like a glass of wine. And then the next day, Ella and I went up and had a latte and like looked out the windows. And so that was a nice perk of diamond status, was getting access to that lounge. And then the next day we flew home, and we flew the business class flights from Haneda to San Francisco. It was super fun for all four of us to be in business class, and Molly was just living her best life, and she slept, and I don't
Because
know.
that was an overnight flight, right?
We left, it was kind of odd because we left at 5:30.
Okay.
And the flight's only it's a shorter flight coming back, and then it was also a shorter flight going to San Francisco instead of
Yeah.
Chicago. So I think it was like a 9-hour flight.
Oh, that's really short.
Yeah, and it's a little bit tricky because it left at 5:30. And so it's not like
Yeah.
you're super
You're just ready to
tired.
go home.
So we
Yeah.
basically just had dinner. I read a book. We watched, like Ella and Molly watched a movie. And then by that time, they were a little bit sleepy. So I'd say we probably got like 4 hours of sleep on the plane. The nice thing was we landed in San Francisco around 10:30 a.m. And so we were able to just fly home that same day.
Yeah, that is nice.
We didn't have to spend the night in San Francisco. So
That's nice.
yeah, another amazing trip to Japan. Molly loved it, which is Molly, it's so funny because she's like, do we have to travel again? Like, I know that there are probably so many kids of travel, award travelers, and they're like, where are we going next? When are we going again? She is a homebody. She likes to be at home with our cats. And so a lot of times she's like, can we just stay home one break? But this one, she absolutely loved Japan. And she's like, when can we go back to Japan? And so
That's
that is high praise coming from
yeah.
her.
What were so Molly liked Nara the most, you said. What were the
And she
things that
loved
stood out
Tokyo
to
too,
you?
just because
Yeah.
Tokyo, she really loved Tokyo. There are just like Hello Kitty cafes and like Sanrio stores everywhere. That's
Yeah.
another thing. If you have a kid like that, you're gonna want to budget some money. I had to give her a budget. I was like, here is your budget. Once you're out of these coins, you're done. Like,
Yeah.
because she wanted to spend all my money.
What was Ted's favorite thing and what did he think about it? And I know you said Japan's your favorite country. Does Ella feel the same? Because I know she's been there a couple times. She's been to a lot of amazing places. What
Yeah.
was like, I guess, everybody's takeaway from the trip? Like, what were the highlights for each person?
I think it's definitely, if not Ella's favorite, in her top 3 still. Like, we
Yeah.
both just love it. We love the culture. We love the food. Everyone is so nice there. Like, no one honks. It's like New York City, but no one honks. And everyone says thank you and I'm sorry like 100 times a day. So if you're going to learn, we try to learn a little bit of Japanese before we go, just the main phrases.
Basics.
Learn how to say I'm sorry.
How do you say it?
Gomenasai, I think, is I'm
Okay.
sorry. And so we were saying that 100 times a day.
Was it like as you're walking through like Shibuya crossing, you're like,
Yes.
I'm gonna say, go ahead.
Gomenasai, gomenasai. Like when you're running into people or when you're like cutting someone off because you didn't realize they were running up behind you. So yeah. So if you're going to learn any Japanese phrases, you want to learn I'm sorry. And they will say it to you too. Like even people who live there, everyone is saying it all day long. But they're so nice and it's so clean. And yeah, Ted loved going to McDonald's and sampling the Japanese offerings that they don't have here in the States.
Ted
I
is doing
wouldn't
the McDonald's world tour.
He
They just
does.
try all the offerings everywhere.
I
That
don't
he
think
could pretty neat. He could be an influencer and do that for McDonald's offerings.
I should reach out to McDonald's and be like, "Do you need?" No, he loved it. I wouldn't say it's his. I think
Favorite
Scotland
country.
is probably still his favorite country we've ever
Yeah.
been to. And he was like, "Go back." Like he wasn't super. He wasn't like, "I need to go back next year," like I am.
Yeah.
But no, he really liked it, and he loved like how convenient it was to get around, how nice everyone was. He can be a little bit picky when it comes to food, and so he did like a lot of the food offerings that they had there. And so all around A plus, 10 out of 10 trip. And I'm just excited. You know how like when you get home and you're like, nothing went not that nothing went wrong, but like nothing major happened. Like
Yeah,
we survived another trip, no
totally.
major incidences.
Well, and like you loved Japan so much and you were so excited to go. You put a lot of work into planning this trip, like
Yeah.
booking things as soon as they came out. Like you've been planning this for over a year.
Yeah.
And so then to have come home and be like, hey, Molly loved it. That like had to feel so rewarding to be like, okay, yes, they see like how amazing Japan is too. Cause it kind of
It-
stinks when you're super excited about something and then it's like, oh,
and it's
kind of,
just so fun.
they don't love it like you do.
Yeah, and it was fun experiencing it again, like through their eyes, you
Totally.
know. Like I loved it and you love it too. And I'm not crazy. It really is that great.
It really
So yeah. So
was
it
so
was
awesome.
awesome. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah. So by combining AA miles, Hyatt points, a Hilton for a night certificate, kind of a mix of things you did there,
Yeah.
Jess was able to score a week-long spring break vacation to Japan with her family that would have cost tens of thousands of dollars for around $200 total in taxes taxes for the flights. That's literally all you paid. You didn't pay for any hotel stays.
Right.
So that is like just insane to go to Japan with a family of 4, 2 hotel nights everywhere too, and only paid $200 for flights and hotel. So if you're ready to get started, and turn your bucket list dream trip into reality, sign up for our free webinar. You can be like Jess and go in amazing places for pennies on the dollar. Check out our webinar, How to Get Your Next Vacation, for nearly free, and we'll put a link in the show notes for you to register.
Thanks so much for listening to Points Talk with the Travel Mom Squad. Make sure to hit the subscribe or follow button from wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. Want to start jet setting even faster? Follow the links in the show notes to learn about everything we discussed in today's episode. And to stay connected and follow along, follow us on Instagram at Travel Mom Squad. We can't wait to see where in the world points and miles take you.